You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Hello, I'm Steven Willis, the host of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm joined by Tim Thomas, and we are going to talk about the Texas A&M game. That was an absolute gut punch, and we're going to preview Missouri a little bit as well. How you doing, Tim?
Doing pretty good. Kind of hurt. Kind of like Beard said, the team in the locker room, they're hurt. They played hard. They came back from that loss against Mississippi State, and overall they played well. Had the game in hand, and a few mistakes here, bad pass, miss front end of a free throw, things like that happened. Like the football team against Kentucky. Just horrible loss. But you thought you had it in the grasp of your hands, and a pass here and a fumble. It just happens, and the team was hurt. And Beard's job is to get them unhurt and to get their mindset and to use this game as experience, and they never want to happen again.
And I mentioned this on the reaction show, although I misidentified the coach as Buzz Williams, not Peterson. Buzz Williams put a coaching clinic. His clinic tape was the last 2 minutes of that game. He fouled exactly who he wanted to foul at all the times. He dictated every part about it and got wide open looks on the other end.
Yeah, he does a good job. I always look at him as Tattoo from the Fantasy Island series, but good coach, as far as I know. And I tell you, it's hard. It was hard for all of us watching. We're kind of shocked, in shock. How could this happen? And then Padula throws it in, and Brakefield sort of backing up like he normally does. He faked and went forward, and Padula didn't know it. Miscommunication. The free throws, I'm not sure why Morel didn't get that pass in. It just worked out that way. Things happen, but hopefully, like I said, they can use this experience. But Buzz does a good job. Good. He's been a lot of places, and he does a good job. They're one of the better teams in the nation, no doubt. Beer kept saying that. Rebound so well. They're a very good team. The guards, Wade Taylor's been injured, and he'll come back, and a couple other guys that got to hit the last shot there. They're really very athletic.
Yeah, and Wade Taylor, they did a good job on Wade Taylor last night.
Yeah, he's kind of injured. Just coming back, and sometime or another we got to talk about Morel. He had a pretty decent game against State, but his shooting is off. It's something to do with a growing. I don't know. I'm just saying there's some injury issue that's nagging him, and he can't fight through it. A lot of these shots, he should be dunking one-handed jams and 360s and all that. He has that ability, and he's not doing it. He's shooting layups, and they're getting blocked and things like that just shouldn't happen. And I'm not sure the issue. They said he went down with possible ankle injury last night. But whatever it is, he's not up to par. He's not 100%, and the team is hurting because of that.
This is the second straight game that Ole Miss has been out-rebounded badly. And the first 4 games in the SEC schedule, they fought the rebounding battle to about a tie. But against Texas A&M and against Mississippi State, they got out-rebounded badly. Is this just a bad matchup with those two teams, or is this the real thing as opposed to the first four games?
Seems like it's a real thing, don't it? They're really good. They're number one rebounding team in the nation, I understand it. A&M was. And, of course, Mississippi State out-rebounded, I believe, was 22. It's not a good sign, and what we got to do is try to learn from it. Like I said, we got to block out better. I thought they did certain times. They were doing really well, but overall, as the game went on, offensive rebound here, put back, we just got to do better. But the thing we can do is turnovers. Really good at that. If we find something good, really good at causing turnovers and not having a lot of turnovers. And then we got to get a lot of steal, which is a turnover, and we got to do what we do best. It's a tough road to hoe, but I feel like we're still okay.
Yeah, if you look at it for a home game, Ole Miss only shot 36.9% for the game. They had as many 3-point shots as they did 2-point shots in this game as well. That was a problem for me, in my opinion. They did cause 20 turnovers by A&M. They got out rebounded by 17 and the fouls were even. But even all of that, Texas A&M needed a 3 at the end just to win the game. But it shouldn't have come to that. Ole Miss was up by 8 points with 2 minutes left, and everybody that was watching the game was like, okay, we've seen this story before. It's going to go to 10. It's going to go to 12. We're going to make free throws, all of that. And then all of a sudden, they just completely lost their composure. They're such a senior-laden team, a whole bunch of older players. At the end of the game, down by 8 points, Texas A&M looked more comfortable than Ole Miss did.
Yeah, it always goes back to your point guard. You got Murray doing it sometimes, Padula, just whatever reason. Sometimes there's lulls or breaks where the offense doesn't run well, and A&M has a lot to do with that. They're a great defensive team. Buzz does a good job with them.
Yeah.
My thing is inside guys. I think about it. He got mad at Dia at the state game. I think it had a lot to do with he wanted him inside. He wants an inside presence, and he can do it. Dia can do it. He can get in there and draw the fouls, but he loves to drift out for the three. He'll go inside and fight to get open for a while, then he drifts right back out. And that's what Beard has a problem with. He is our guy right now. Brown Jones is still not physically ready offensive-wise to help us. And all he can do is maybe guard and get a few rebounds. But right now, Dia's our guy. So I think he would love for him to just stay inside all the time and make those plays inside and draw those fouls. I think we had, four free throws last night, 3 out of 4. The last one, Barnes missed, which was critical. 1-and-1, front end of 1-and-1. It was critical. The pass, Padula was critical. Any mistake, even at the first of the game, it makes a difference. But towards the end of the game, it's obvious.
When we come back, we're going to turn our attention to the Missouri Tigers. We're going to ask Tim what needs to happen there, what Ole Miss needs to do, all of that good stuff. Stick around. But first, I do want to let you know the therapy can be a game changer. After that Ole Miss Texas A&M game, you might need somebody to talk to. Luckily, I can help you. It can help manage stress, improve sleep, and help you communicate more effectively. But finding the right therapist and fitting sessions into a busy schedule, it can be a challenge. That's where Talkspace comes in. Talkspace is the leading virtual therapy provider, making getting help to you easy, accessible, and affordable. With Talkspace, signing up is simple. You can match with a licensed therapist who fits your needs, usually within 48 hours. Plus, Talkspace is covered by many insurance plans, and most insured members, there's a $0 copay. It's never been easier to prioritize mental health. And as a listener of this podcast, you get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/LockedOnCollege and enter the promo code SPACE80. That's all one word. To match it with the licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/LockedOnCollege and enter promo code SPACE80 to get $80 off that first month and show your support for the show. That's Talkspace.com/LockedOnCollege, promo code SPACE80. Attending an NFL playoff game is an experience like no other. The energy, the excitement, the camaraderie with other fans is completely unmatched. I'll never forget the thrill of watching my favorite team clinch a playoff victory live. It's a moment that I'll cherish forever. This year, Game Time makes it even easier to get those unforgettable memories with their new feature, Game Time Picks. It cuts through all the clutter and helps show you the best deals for great seats so you can focus on what really matters, and that's being there. I recently used Game Time Picks to snag tickets for an upcoming playoff game, and it was such a breeze. I found a super deal that gave me an amazing value for incredible seats. One of my favorite features is being able to preview that seat view before buying the tickets. It's so helpful. Plus, with their all-in prices, there were no surprise fees at checkout. And the Game Time guarantee gave me peace of mind knowing my tickets were going to be secure and delivered on time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download Game Time, create an account, and use the code LockedOnCollege, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right, Tim, we're getting ready for the Missouri Tigers. It's a game they lost at Texas. They won at Florida. They're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team, like, heck, 98% of the SEC teams are this year. Going up to Missouri is going to be a test, but I do think that Ole Miss, this isn't a must-win game. This isn't that, but this is probably a need-to-win game.
Yeah. They didn't win a game last year in the SEC. Imagine that. Missouri. Then now I think they're like 4-2 like us, 15-4 record overall. Coaches Dennis Gates, really good coach. What I've seen, he several good players. Bates from last year, they brought in a couple portal guys, a Mitchell guy, and it's a couple of guys they got can really play. But defense travels. I know you heard that a few times, but it does. And the defense that we play, we caused 20 turnovers last night. 20 turnovers. So if we can do that type of thing, it seemed like we played better away from home sometimes. We got a couple away from home games that I tell you, if you can win away from home games like this Missouri game, that's a good sign of an NCAA tournament team. If you can win away. You know, the games are going to be neutral during the NCAA tournament. So if you can win away games when the crowd's all against you, that's a good sign. Not a good sign we lost last night, but, hey, I'm going to say they're going to just say, hey, what did we do wrong? Look at this, look at this. And they're going to flush it. They're going to flush this game, and they're going to say, here, what do we got to do? We're 15-4, 4-2. Let's go get Missouri Tigers. And I believe they can do it. They travel well. These experienced players, I think Padula and the guys that made a few mistakes, Barnes, that may help him. He may be out there shooting 100 free throws today, so maybe that'll help him. And Morel, hopefully, he'll get well. Whatever is bothering him, he'll get back to normal, and he'll be throwing down some big dunks up there in Missouri, and we'll come back with a win.
Yeah, it should be interesting to go because 5-2 in the SEC is so much better than 4-3 because that's kind of the choices after Saturday's game.
I don't see a problem with us getting 8 wins. You know, you mentioned we talked about Kim Palm saying 10, 11 wins, but, you know, last night was a downer. You know, any way you put it, you had it there, you had it in your grasp, and you let it fall through. So what can we do? We just got to flush it, like I said. We got to get fired back up. We got to get Diab playing better. I would say put him inside and don't let him outside. If he has to, let him throw up a 3 every once in a while so he'll be happy. But he needs to stay inside. We got plenty of guys that can shoot 3. Murray, Padula, Morel can shoot the 3. He can just stay inside and do his thing. We need Dre Davis to play better. Brakefield had 8 rebounds. Your guy. Soon to be my guy. He struggles a few times on defense. That's what I look at. You know, a lot of people look at offense and threes, and I look at defense and helping and all that things and blocking out. But he had 8 good rebounds, strong, went for them, hustled really hard. So I was really proud of Brakefield. Thought he played well. But everybody come together as a team. And then I thought Flafke had a few good minutes. He was kind of a little stage fright, seemed like he wasn't quite ready. But we got a good team, solid team. Brown Jones is coming back. I believe we'll travel up there well. I believe we'll win.
I think that Ole Miss, I mean, anytime an SEC team's playing on the road, you have to at least be apprehensive about it. But I think Ole Miss has as good a chance to win this game as they probably do any game on their schedule that's left as far as the chance goes. So it's going to be a good ball game.
There's something about these games after you get hurt like that. And they're hurt, guys. They're hurt. And the whole lot, you know, they make money. They're professionals now, but they still hurt. They got beat, and it really hurt because they practice hard. Beard holds them accountable. He holds the players accountable, the coaches. He holds his secretary, the janitor. He holds everybody in that TUI Center and the pavilion accountable. And they're going to go up to Missouri and do well, I believe.
Yeah, and Ole Miss, if Ole Miss can get a W in Missouri, it comes home. You've got a home game against Texas, which that's going to be a big game. And then next weekend is Auburn. And they're going to probably break an attendance record for that game if Ole Miss can go into that Auburn game on a high.
Yeah, Auburn's really good, but they can be beat. At home, they can be beat. We get a few things go our way, a few shots, and not have the bad thoughts that we had about last night. But I believe we'll do well. We got Texas. I can see where we could beat them at home. Auburn's going to be tough. Just be honest. Tennessee's going to be tough. But the games we have at home, we've got to really get them. That's why it was so hard about last night. But getting 8, I don't see a problem getting 8. Getting 10 may be a little harder, to try to get a better seed. But things will keep going. We're good. The world turns, and there's another day. It hurts a little while, just like the old Kentucky game. I know it burned you, and a lot of other guys burnt me. I couldn't believe it, But it happens. You have to get over it, and you have to. It's a brand new day, and they're going to go up to Columbia and have a good game, I think.
Thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Tim Thomas, former Ole Miss basketball guy. He sent me some pictures, by the way, of him dunking on LSU and stuff like that. So that was really, really cool to see as well. Anyway, Tim, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you next week, buddy.
Yeah, what's the old saying? Carpe diem, seize the day. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy, man.